So next we're talking about inventory planning. Now's the time to balance your inventory levels. Our goal for most clients is to achieve a 30 to 60 day inventory level. So plan your restocking, plan your promotional activity, plan your removals. A lot of times clients come to us and say, I'm gonna have to remove this inventory because it didn't pan out well. I overstocked or whatever. But if you have a choice, why not promote it and sell it on Amazon, acquire that new customer? Now's your time to kind of analyze that inventory and say, do I really need to remove it? Can I promote it instead? You don't want aged inventory to start digging you. But now's your time to plan. And of course, now's your opportunity to make sure that all of your open orders for next year are well balanced. And if they're not, you're going to have a gap. And then what are you going to do about that? There's a lot of things that you can do to make it more advantageous for you. So for example, you may find that slowing sales down by increasing your retail price, boosting your margins, may actually serve you better than running out of stock, because you may find that your ranking may drop a little bit because you're no longer as competitive on price, but your gross margin dollars went up and you were able to remain in stock the entire time. That might be far better than running out of stock where your ranking drops completely off the face of the earth for a month. Now's the time to be thinking about, when are those things going to transpire? If I do nothing, and if I have the opportunity to do something, what should that something be? Another thing to consider is closing the listings when you are inevitably going to run out of stock, to preserve your sales history. We may find the same tactics to be used against your competitors. All of a sudden, your competitors may be raising their prices because they're about to run out of stock, or maybe they ran out of stock. How are you adjusting your ads, adjusting how you're competing against those competitors to win customers that had historically been buying their products? So a lot of planning here. Now's the time for that. Also remember that you're going to have delayed returns through the end of January 2022 for anything that was purchased over the holidays, and you're going to have to deal with those removal orders and all the costs associated with that. And you're going to need adequate staffing to make sure that you're able to handle the replenishment orders, the returns, and the removal orders. So, team, do you have some things to add to this?
Well, I was going to add, as far as the inventory thing, just remember the whole thing with Amazon and their IPI score, and that's adjusted. Your IPI score is always moving up or down, but quarterly is basically when they will increase or, unfortunately, maybe decrease the amount of space they allocate for you. And they want you to build a very robust system. For them, it starts at the point that it hits the fulfillment center and making sure you've got everything so you're selling. So as stuff is moving in, you have stuff going out. But for you, it's got to start even before that. If you're having stuff built overseas, you've got to have your orders in with your factories. You have to have stuff on the water. This year, that was obviously very challenging for you. And know that Amazon will, even if you can show them, I've got this promo running, and look at my past history. When I have done this, I've sold this amount, but I don't have enough inventory to support that. They don't care. They're not going to increase your number unless your IPI score is up there.
It could be one item pulling it down, right?
Yeah, so, that's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
So, from an advertising standpoint, now's the time to make sure you're adjusting those budgets back down post-holiday if need be, and any revising of bid amounts. Obviously, you still want to win your key placements, but that you may not need to spend as much in order to still win to an acceptable level. So determine where you need to be from a profitability standpoint after you just went through the holiday seasons and make revisions. It's also a great time to start planning for things like video creation. Sponsored brand video ads are really producing meaningful results. Probably the best ad type out there right now. And since they've allowed you to start placing these ads on PDPs, we really see that as a great way to kind of lure customers away from your competitors, as well as draw them in on search keywords. The first 10 seconds has to be the most critical to draw them in, and about 30 seconds is a good practice. Never rely on audio. Audio is fine, but make sure there's text to portray anything that you're presenting. And you'll find good results. Amazon quotes a 3.6 time increase in conversion rates when a customer watches a video. It's monumental. And you can use videos for your product detail pages, as well as sponsored brand ads. And you can add multiple videos on product detail pages. So I often like to have multiple ads serving different purposes. Maybe one that's focused on branding, maybe one that's focused on the individual product, maybe one that's geared towards advertising. Load them all on the PDP page. And also post-holiday retargeting, which we talked about. One thing to keep in mind is that coupons will show in the ads. So if you're really trying to make those ads a little bit more productive, include a coupon as well. It'll help make that ad a little bit more compelling and give you that kind of extra badge, if you will. Team, what do you got to add to the advertising section?
Well, on about the sponsored brand video, the one thing I would say is if you're a brand that has a fair amount of branded search, that's the place to start. You know, competitors will bid on your brand name and run static ads, you sponsored products, sponsored brands. Competitors are not going to do a video on your brand name. So, you know, they work for non-brand and brand, but definitely take advantage of them for the branded search. No, you're not going to have to compete with anybody for that slot.
Okay. All right. So moving on.
I just wanted to add really quick to the video part. Just a couple things. One thing, you know, like you said, Steve, do a variety of videos. You know, do one to show the quality of your product. Again, look at your reviews and your questions, all the things we've talked about before. Think like your customer, you know, and then, you know, try to portray the differences between your product and others. And then, you know, do a brand video, but do multiple videos. And the last thing I'll say there is that every seller I seem to talk to about video is the hardest thing to get them to do. But you know, one of the things I try to say to them is if you're not doing it and your competitor does, they are getting that extra lift, which is really, I mean, it's just compelling. And it just, in my opinion, it's just video is so important.